All right, Rob, before we get you out of here today, I wanted to pick your brain as someone who is so knowledgeable and expert in creating engaging experiences for audiences. Our boss
Yeah.
heroes listening today know that team building is an important component of leadership. And so I'm
Mhm.
interested in your experience as a master of ceremonies, as an entertainer, as an event host, as a game show host, what kinds of experiences do people seem to most enjoy, to get caught up in, and why do they work?
Yeah, so I teased it earlier when I worked with the Jazz. When we did our halftime game shows, we did Deal or No Deal, and that was the most compelling one. And it's
Mm.
really interesting because it's just like Millionaire, because you're living vicariously through this person. Now, Deal or No Deal is a complete game of chance,
Game of
but
chance. Yep.
people want to be able to root for this person to win that money, and they're living vicariously through it. So that's one that a lot of people like. But going back to Jeopardy, I have a game that I do which is called Quiz Show. And the reason I love Quiz Show so much is just like Jeopardy, we have a wide array of topics and
Mm.
different ways for people to answer those questions. And so when somebody can chime in and they have the answer to that question that nobody else knows, they feel like a
Ah.
superstar. So I'm going to give you one of my hardest quiz show questions.
Okay.
And my hope is that you get this. So the question is, who is the only person in the Star Wars universe of all the Star Wars movies ever made to have been nominated for a role that they played in a Star Wars movie? And this is something not a lot of people get.
Like nominated for an Academy Award?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, let me think about that for a second. And it's an acting role.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. I'm
Do you need a
going.
clue?
I'm going to ask for a
Okay,
clue. Yes. Is there a specific clue? Are you going to tell me which movie?
Yeah, New Hope.
Okay. First movie, original Star Wars, Episode 4.
Who was it
Okay.
nominated for an Academy Award for what they did in that movie?
Was James Earl Jones nominated for voiceover work?
No,
Okay, because
that's
he's
not
not
a
in the Darth
category.
Vader costume. I don't know if folks actually know that.
Yeah.
I feel like I shouldn't get more cracks at it. Why don't you tell us, enlighten us, my friend?
The ultimate mentor of all, Alec
Ye-
Guinness as Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh, he was
Isn't that
nominated.
interesting?
That's
Yes.
fantastic. That's really cool trivia.
Yeah.
Yes.
It-
And so I love the point that you're making, though, which is that when you know who the people are in your audience, like I'm kind of a little bit of a pop culture geek about stuff like that,
yes.
you can create experiences that allow everybody to contribute,
Yes.
that allow everybody to
Yes.
participate.
Right. And so if you're keeping people included in different types of ways, everybody feels like they're part of the fun. And so sometimes I even do physical challenges. Sometimes I test their knowledge. Sometimes I,
Yeah.
once again, test their visual spatial. What is it about them? What's their superpower? And how can we tap into that through trivia and games?
And when I talk with groups about team building, I really differentiate between two kinds of team building. There's
Mhm.
low risk surface level team building, which is all about bonding and belonging. And what you're
Yeah.
talking about really helps with that. Just giving people the chance to come together, to laugh, to contribute. Maybe it's a little bit of competition if we're playing games, but it's competition that doesn't result in any doesn't create any suffering, right? Where people are talking down to each other. It's
Yeah.
fun, it's laughter, and feeling a part of something. And then the second level of team building is skill development. Right, let's go and
Mhm.
do some things together. Maybe it's around problem solving or conflict resolution or communication, right? We can gamify that. There's a reason you see people
Yeah.
going to ropes courses for years and things like that, because
Yeah.
there are some transferable experiences and skills that we can take back to teams. And so what I always advise teams to do is the bonding, belonging stuff you can sprinkle everywhere in meetings
Yes.
and huddles and in the hallway, and the skill development stuff you have to be a little bit more intentional about making time for as part of longer term planning and experiences that you plan for your teams.
So one more game that I'm going to give to all our boss heroes out there.
Okay.
Something that you can do. This is a game that I developed over the pandemic, but it was a collaboration effort with one of the teams that I worked with. And it's such a fun game. So basically what we did is we sent out a survey monkey about 3 questions that we sent to everybody on the team. So something like, tell us a fun fact that not a lot of people know about you, a hobby that you do, or a celebrity encounter. Just something fun and unique that nobody on the team knows, right? They sent that all back to me. I put together the results, and then I put the two managers in charge, and I say, who on the team has skydived with Elvis? And they're like, oh man, okay, who? I'm gonna go with Joe. And so they each get a point when they guess it right. But
Yes.
the reason I love this game so much is we're now highlighting the people on the team, and once we find out who that person was, we let them tell that story. Well, you got to tell us more. How was that experience skydiving with Elvis? And so
Yeah.
it's one of my favorite games to play.
That's super fun. I've done a version of that was with bigger groups where I had
Mm-hmm.
this list of like 15 really interesting statements.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, remain standing if you've ever jumped out of an airplane. And so everybody in the room sits
Yes.
down, and you look around, and remain standing if you served in the military.
Yep.
Remain standing if you can still fit into your high school prom dress. And then, then we make a joke, about, okay, sit down, nobody likes you. And then, ha ha ha. And there's a lot of fun ways to give people insight into each other that doesn't require them to put forth a lot of risk or share a lot of personal information. Because if you don't want to tell people that you still fit into your high school prom dress, you don't have to remain standing. You'll just sit down, right? And doing that is a way to just continue fostering connection.
I do the I have never, where everybody puts up one hand, 5 fingers, and say, if you have done this thing, so you say, I have never seen Newsies. And then if you've seen Newsies, you got to put a finger down. That's
Okay.
true. I've never seen Newsies. I've seen the musical multiple times, but I've never seen the movie. And
Finger
so,
down. I've never seen Newsies.
okay, there we are. So, and that's a fun game as well.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Rob, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time to be with us today. I know you're a fan of the podcast. I'm a big fan of yours and the work that you're doing out there to make learning and meetings and other kinds of experiences that people have at work fun. Where can people get in touch with you or follow you if they want to learn more about the work you do?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram at Rob Ferre, ROBFERRE, and at the website, robferre.com. And hopefully we can collaborate in the future. But if anything, it was a pleasure. It was an honor to be a part of the BossBetter podcast, or BossBetter Now with Joe Mull.
Thank you, my friend.